All right, welcome. Following a pretty exciting inverted, yes, inverted can in fact be exciting, but in this case, we are kind of switching gears into a non-keys, non-inverted mode. Good old casual boost as part of the ALTTPR Ladder Championship match. We have 4 people who have made their way on the Potter win throughout the week for casual boots, and they are racing up to see, in this case, who can maintain the current champion, including defending champion MM2 in the upper left-hand corner. And unfortunately, I'm joined with the Casual Boost champion himself, Jem. Jem, how's it going?
Wait, I am?
Yes, of course you are.
Hi,
Didn't you
what's
win
up?
something?
I don't think I ever won
You
anything
are
Casual
okay.
Boots.
You have had a lot of titles over the years, right? The most recent one, of course, being the Catfish guy. But I do believe at some point you were known to be the Casual Boots guy. So here we are.
That is probably fair, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't love Casual Boots, right? It's just like the right amount of rando fast food. Just very normal, very basic, but it's good. We like it.
Yes. I'm especially appreciating MM2's timer. It is extremely distracting.
Wait, what?
But
Oh my God.
now you know whenever I guess the second in this case goes. But yeah, so pretty exciting. We'll try and get this scene open a little bit here. But yeah, pretty standard. Yes, both pun intended, and also the mode itself, because it's casual boots, you have a standard start. I can't believe MM2 is already ruining his sub 5 escape with a map check, dropping right before we go to Uncle.
It just doesn't matter. I will not look at his timer. I will just assume he gets a sub 5. It doesn't matter what he does.
Really? Oh, so what you're telling me is in order to get a sub 5 to beat Airy or the reigning champion, we just have to just get this extremely distracting, flashy timer, and then you'll just assume that you're gonna get like a 455. Noted.
Yeah,
noted.
nobody's gonna look at it. There's two things you gotta do, right? If you're first, you have a timer like this, so nobody looks at it, and then you also need to map check. So if you come out of escape behind somebody else, just assume that's because of the map check. It doesn't matter if it feels like 3 seconds or 10 seconds. Like, it's all just the map check anyway. So, but yeah, we have a very, very normal start here. So far, nothing found that speeds up escape, so it looks like it'll just be a regular sword and boots, casual boots escape. Which, you might think it's not exciting, but honestly, that's the best kind of escape, because it's kind of how the casual boots escape is meant to be played. Just like the raw, normal gear and execution. And you can go up against the 455 time that is basically the goal these days with Fast ROM, if you have really, really good execution. I think we found the map and the key so far, and a Moon Pearl in Zelda Cell. Thank you, Matt, for showing us.
Oh, I think I synced the wrong way. 1 sec.
We're getting there. Matt is just that good. That's why he's almost a minute ahead at this point. Just really crushing everybody. But yeah, everybody doing 8 slashes against Bone Chain. Nobody throwing pots. We don't have time for that, especially when we can just dash towards it. Right. I want to see Xall dash now to these stairs. Yeah, let's go. So you really should always walk those stairs, to those stairs, but it is slightly faster to dash. And one day Xall DM'd me with a video comparing the times, and it was like the Virgin Walker versus the Chat Dasher or something like that with that meme. And yeah, he showed me that it saves like, I don't know, 3 frames or whatever. And then I told him how to save another frame, and yeah, good to see him dash there. We find the flippers in Dark Cross. So escape has been pretty good so far. We found the mandatory map and key, so we've only seen 2 items, but those 2 items have been our flippers and the moon pearl.
Oh, okay.
None of
okay.
them speed up escape, luckily.
Okay, that's
yeah, I
good.
think it's the thing, right?
Yeah, we're okay. We're pretty much synced up now. All right, I figured out the only way to slow Matt down, which is cheating, adjusting his stream time. Yes.
Well, actually, looks like Jamo is in the lead, just barely.
Oh yeah,
Slightly
actually,
ahead
that's
of Matt.
true. Yeah, and escape, of course.
But-
Everything we, yeah.
Actually, like, MM2 aside, because he ruined his time by map checking, all 3 of the others are very, very close, which is really cool. Just showing that
Yeah.
they're very good at execution.
Lots and lots of practice. I know
it's-
that everybody here is had a lot of years of experience, basically with rando. Not to mention, of course, using boots, and of course doing escape.
Yeah, Xall probably the newest runner of these, but he has spent a ton of time practicing escape, so you can see it. It really pays off. He came in, was it second? So, well, he basically tied Matt Jamo like half a second ahead or something.
Yeah,
So very
it looks
cool.
like all right. Yeah, actually, it looks like all 5-minute escapes, which is again, I mean, like we joke about having like a 4:55 escape time, but I mean a 5 is extremely respectable. Certainly, not a lot of air. I believe also. Did we see a pendant desert? Of course, we saw a pendant desert when we map checked, and also saw a pendant eastern. Yes.
It's of course Clearmoss is commentating. It has to be
Yes,
Pendant
that's
Desert.
right. Yeah.
And
Whenever I
there's
roll.
the single arrow middle finger just for you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, so
Because you like using the bow.
both seemingly okay. Paradoxically, or ironically, even though we do have Eastern and Desert as a pendant, the bow actually might show up earlier. Just like when you see a pendant Turtle Rock, that Ice Rod is always seems to show up in the middle for some, or in the early game for some inexplicable reason. So maybe the bow will show up, and maybe something will be on Landmarks itself. I completely missed the lumberjack check from everybody
Same.
involved.
Yeah,
I was
and
just busy
it's
watching
tragic.
MM2.
Yeah, it's tragic that they're all in the same spot. Like they're all tied. So if you miss one, you miss them all.
Yeah, I shouldn't have synced them so early. So really, I should just blame MM2 for not going to lumberjack and everyone doing a map check later in this case. But yeah, some pretty nice stuff out in the back of escape, as you mentioned. We got flippers, we got a pearl, so that's always really nice to see. We do have some half magic as well, so especially early magic can be, depending on the situation, can be a bit more taxing, just in terms of like magic is kind of the one resource that you really can't get easily. Like maybe you can go to the potion shop or something if you get a bottle, but unlike bombs and arrows, which is kind of you try enemies to kill, you probably find them in chests and whatever. You actually see Matt actually farming up a bomb or two in the bomb box right next to the fortune teller house.
Yep, and of course Blindset just has 3.
Yes, that's how people get rewarded, by luck, because nobody knows in this case where what everything is.
So I actually really dislike getting more than one bomb there if you have money. Because, well, at first you have 5 chances to just find bombs in Blindside, right? But then also you can just run and buy bombs from the shop and then run back up. And that doesn't actually lose that much time. Because after you're done, you can get spin speed on the stairs after the well and just run out of CAC, and that's pretty fast.
Learning about Kakariko optimization, and you actually bring up a pretty good point. You guys should see, so especially when basically 3 out of the 4 runners in this case were pretty much synced coming out of escape, with the exception of MM2, who ended up doing a map check kind of earlier to kind of delay himself a little bit. But yeah, you can also kind of see maybe like the differences for how people even going through all these screens in Kakariko, getting everything. You can see some people, depending on movement and just in routing, micro routing in this case can actually make a difference, going basically getting out of Kakariko and seeing in this case who makes it out to like the library and Maze Race first.
Yeah, you can actually tell. And Jamo pulled quite a bit ahead of Matt here, just by not getting second bomb. So it's like a good, I don't know, 10 seconds or whatever.
Yeah. And yeah, it's like in the grand scheme of things, what's maybe 1 second here or another 1 second there, it actually can add up, especially this early. So on the one hand, yes, you do have a lot of game to play. Yes, especially in non-keys modes for casual boots, and you have execution with the boots. Things maybe seem maybe not as important in the early game, but then again, I mean, this is still a race, and there's no good reason to give up extra time that you don't have to, especially, and we've seen races come down to the wire too, right? So
yeah. I mean, this is like 10 seconds within the first 9 minutes. Like, it's actually pretty significant. If,
yeah.
You know, if
That's
every
like
9 minutes you save 10 seconds. Yeah, exactly.
Think about all the chests you can open up for at the top of GT when you're inevitably looking for that sword, that second sword, or silvers or something. Then yeah, you're gonna be able to afford that time. By the way, we got a hook shot. Is that what I saw in the back of Tavern?
Yeah, Tavern had a hook shot. We found half magic too, and a glove.
Oh, we found a glove.
So
okay, that's pretty cool.
We have a lot of good stuff already. We're very close to Dark World access. We, might be Mountain soon. It could also be hookshot. Can sometimes also point to a dagger, as it gets you to West Dark World.
Yeah, yes. The how many we can play instead of well, I guess in this case because it's not fast cannon, we already know it's a guarantee 3 Agas at the very end of the game. But we can see in this case if there's going to be a 4th. Aga does seem to like to make himself known, especially in casual boot seeds. Partially, I think, because also we start with one sword, so that's already one piece of the puzzle towards Aga. But that being said, I don't want to acknowledge that Bombos medallion that we got in MMC cave, or that second glove. I was gonna say we are only one piece away from traditional Dark World access, which is another glove or a hammer. So here we are. Maybe Aga is not necessarily in the picture for this particular seed. However, that hammer hasn't shown up. There could still be. I mean, I don't know. I guess we don't need Aga. I can't think of a situation where maybe we need to go visit him.
It could be for Pyramid Fairy if you don't want to do the bomb tube with the mirror.
Okay.
But that's about it.
Okay.
But yeah, we have Dark World. We also have Ice Palace access. We can do everything that doesn't have a right now.
Well, that is true. That is true. I do know that there are some people who have an affinity to go into Ice Palace as soon as possible, even without the pearl. In some cases, if you can finagle your way into. However, that being said, maybe you're also going to mention this, is that we also don't have a hammer, so maybe not Ice Palace is looking that appealing, because we really would like to not go to a place that we can't basically finish the place. And also, we don't have Samaria either. So if you especially want to full clear Ice Palace, you would like to try and hold out for some time saving with the Cane of Samaria, but we probably... Oh, you know what? Speaking of those flipper-locked hammer...
We'll go straight into ice.
Wow. Okay. Very, very different routing in this case. Right, because... So, normally in casual boosts, what I've seen is that if you have Zora money, by the time you go through all like Kakariko and South Shore and all that stuff, you either go to Zora and Zora area, because you can water walk out of Ice Rock Cave, or you go to Hobo, which is what Zal's doing, if you don't have money. And actually very different decisions from all 4 runners. So MM2 went to Waterfall regardless, Zal went to Hobo, and then Jamo and Matt said, no thank you, flippers, we're going to Dark World. Or Mountain, looks like.
Yeah, Mountain makes sense. You kind of don't want to go into regular Dark World without mirror or hammer. So I think it makes sense if you have mids to just do Mountain and Dark Death Mountain. That being said, our hammer is just in a waterfall, and somehow, despite the early flippers, only on 2 S's.
Yeah. Now, I don't really imagine, I guess, like the other people leaving the flippers all the time, especially if you find some money, which, especially if we have Dark World access, money is much more plentiful, or they have a lot more opportunities to get it. I don't think they're going to explicitly farm for it, but just the world being so much more open, you have a lot more opportunities to just get either your 300 or just random stuff, right? Especially if we go to start Village of Outcast, you win the chess game, you can go do dig game. I think it looks like when Old Man had 50. So I think once we kind of get that, we get the flute. There are lots of opportunities to go get the hammer. But that being said, right, MM2 having an early hammer can certainly afford him some nice efficiencies. Was that what rod was that?
It was one of the rods.
Okay. Maybe it doesn't matter what rod it was.
Yeah, I couldn't see the top, so who knows? That looks like a nice road.
All right, looks like and really big thanks to Sigma and the SG crew to be able to actually just have SG be able to capture the runners trackers. So in this case, I believe everybody's using auto tracking, and all looks like this. I'm pretty sure this is just a coincidence, but we are also using Dunka Tracker, which of course Dunka is also sponsoring the ALTTPR Ladder. So it's all very very nicely themed and tied together. But yes, this is actually something that looks very very uniform, very nice.
Yeah, so Xall right now is the only one that stays in logic, doesn't go up the mountain since we don't have lamp or flute. He went to the village. So far we haven't seen anything on the mountain that makes this punishing. We have seen something in the waterfall that makes it punishing, because we have to skip hammer packs, we might have to skip thieves on big chest if we clear thieves. But yeah, it's also not like we've seen much of the mountain yet. The bulk of the stuff is still coming.
Well, so speaking of the hammer, actually, so the fact that Matt and Jamo are both up here without it, right? But MM2 has it, so I guess like Matt and Jamo can really only just do the right side of the mountain, like Dark Death Mountain and Paradox and Death Mountain and such. Then I guess like if you were in MM2's position, like would you go also to Hera and then come back and then do Dark Death Mountain? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. It's a crystal. Just do it. It's good.
So this potentially could be a pretty good advantage for MM2, like depending where that mirror is. Like if the mirror is just somewhat more readily available, we don't have to look at MM2's screen right now, then maybe it's not as bad, because we can always just kind of come back the mountain and then just go up using the mirror to Hera. But if something is in Hera, or the mirror is maybe something else that's important, and the mirror doesn't really show up for a while, then this might be a bit more expensive for everyone who's already here at the mountain, because you have to come back again.
Yeah, if the mirror is behind Hera, this is extremely punishing for Jamo and Matt. If it's not, if there's nothing in Hera or the mirror just shows up, then it's kind of whatever. We found the fire rod and Thieves Town in map chest on Xall's side.
Ooh.
And the cane of Samaria.
And Samaria, okay. Suddenly, Turtle Rock's looking like a crystal. Okay, I was not expecting that, because we suddenly have both canes and both rods and the cane. Speaking of the map check, though, I did catch the last pendant, and of course Matt also caught it. It was Pendant Swamp. Talk about no mirror potentially. That is a very interesting, interesting pendant layout.
Yeah, we actually might never find it. In which case, well, I guess that makes Hera less bad. I mean, there could still be important things there, but yeah, we'll see. There's only one item that we already found the blue mail.
Oh, okay, good. I'm glad that you caught this, because I was like, I wonder if there's anything important in here that we actually would need to care about. Yeah, but also, it looks like Xall is also going to the back of Thieves Town. We did find at least 2 items. Oh, and we found the booknet, okay, in the big chest. So Hera's pretty empty, which means that we just are here for the crystal. I believe it's just a regular crystal too, so not going to be too big of a deal. We just have to come back for it. But I was going to say, so without the hammer, Xall's probably potentially leaving 1 item behind in Thieves Town. And also cannot have to, because the small key could just be self-blocking, the map could be self-blocking, or the map or the compass can be in the big chest. But it is going to be kind of a risk that Xall can end up taking. But it doesn't look like he really cares all that much. Oh my gosh, MM2.
Oh no, not the middle hole.
You remember we were talking about how this hammer is like a big advantage for MM2 to be able to do this. Maybe it's actually better to just come back without it, because MM2 is just having a pretty rough time here in Hero.
Yeah, that's rough. We saw Turtle Rock is Ether, which is the one that we don't have right now. So, yeah. So there was a chance that MM2 could somehow do TR here if he finds Kanan Fire and has the medallion, but, well. Now we know where all of those, well, where 2 of those are, and the other one is not showing up, so that part of the potential hammer advantage is also not happening here.
Yeah, that's actually kind of wild, in that we just found everything that we potentially could have actually just a full clear and do like mountain basically one time, like do all of Dark Death Mountain, all of like World Death Mountain, and then just be able to go into Turtle Rock like with everything everything like basically to full clear it, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, Xall has the opportunity for that. He has Cane and Fire Rod. We know the Ice Rod is on the mountain. If he finds Ether, like in a Dark World, for example,
he will still have to go to
and
Waterfall,
gets
right?
his hammer
to
for going up.
Yeah.
Yeah, gets that too. He has a chance to completely clear out the mountain in one go, which would be the dream, basically.
A better dream, potentially, could be that we just delay the mountain completely. Maybe Turtle Rock. In this case, we saw Hera is empty. Right? Maybe we just never have to literally go up until the end game. In which case, we actually just have a Go Mode Hera, Go Mode Turtle Rock. Oh man, I would be pretty excited.
Yeah, that would be even better. Yeah, the mountain being completely Go Mode. Well, aside from Spectral Cave, which would have the Go Mode in that scenario.
True.
It's just kind of the dream.
Alright, well, looks like actually we're gonna get one more check out of Jamo, because he has 1,070 rupees, so he now has enough reason to go over to Waterfall, do some more flipper checks. And it's only 20 rupees, so in this case, MM2, which he's already scouted Zora Ledge for, most likely will not come back unless he is extremely desperate for something, and he will not miss out of that on the 480 rupee loss.
Yeah, not having the hammer did not hurt Xall and is not going to hurt Matt in Thief Zone. Because the small key, like you said, ended up being self-locking. There's a hammer picks, which Jamo might be the first to show us. Maybe MM2. We'll see. But it might end up being okay for now.
I really like this very synced hype cape check on the right-hand side with the Hall and Jamo.
Yeah, sure. Somehow they ended there at the exact same time, even though they could take completely different routes.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about actually some more different routes. Xall is actually saving quitting out of hype cape, which actually is a pretty non-trivial amount of time save. Like being able to save and quit out of let's say like considered to be fairly deep or like 1 to 2 screen caves or houses in, like saving quitting out of Blind's basement or like Blind's hut, right? Or even like the well actually can be a pretty good amount of time. If you don't have to backtrack, you don't have to get out of the cave, right? If you don't need to.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't want to do permit here because it's just going for 3 fast checks, especially with you. But this is where he needs to be for his hammer. Gonna be after this. Because if he goes up the mountain now, he won't be able to do TR, which is unfortunate. Optimally, he wants to find Ether somewhere first.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't know that. And I guess only with one medallion, maybe he also doesn't really think that Turtle Rock is going to be within striking distance. I mean, from his perspective, he's also missing the Ice Rod. And of course, you know, Crystal, Turtle Rock. And how many casual booth seats have you played when we're in Ice Rod Go mode type of situations? Yeah, exactly. So he's probably not too optimistic about his chances. Now that being said, though, we did find a second medallion in Super Funny, which is Quake. We have Bombos from Mini Muldrum Cave, but it does actually seem like, though, the Ether is still the one in question that we don't know about. And of course, we also don't have the flute in order to kind of give us the Meyer entry as well. Oh my gosh. No mirror means that we can actually read the blind pun? Amazing.
Tragic. Yeah, so it looks like Master Sword was on Ticket. MM2 just got that, and Matt got it earlier, but I missed it. So we do have Master Sword. My gosh. We also have Death.
Everything's fine.
No Death on Fire.
Everything's fine. See, this is why we got half magic. Why pick it up and keep it if you're not gonna go use it? Ooh, there's a book that helps us get into Pendant Desert.
Nice, great, awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, but Xall is trying to stay off the mountain for a bit longer, so when Skulls now. Matt is also headed there now, it looks like.
Yes. Very understandable with the, well, Never mind. We're just gonna gem 041 SW Skull Woods. We'll probably go there after checking this. But that was a very classic skip Skull Woods type of run. Oh, that's a tempered sword.
Hey, why not have the temper first?
Okay. We are there's a reason why we do not rush Skull Woods. Why would you go beat Mothula on Master Sword when you can beat Mothula on Tempered Sword? This isn't ladder, right? Donka's not involved in any of this?
No. No, this is on SG. This is clearly not ladder.
Yeah.
Don't look at the
By the
middle
way-
of the screen.
Exactly. By the way, in this case, I appreciate that, or I mean, it's nice from a respawn perspective that we actually have all different levels of swords. MM2 is sporting his Master Sword in Thieves Town, and Xall actually is going to Mothula on a Fighter Sword versus Matt going to Skull Woods actually with a 2-sword upgrade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do have the hammers, so well, since we have 3 hearts, probably gonna rely on that half magic. Oh god, that's on the great side.
I am extremely nervous for Xall right now. Yeah, he's really relying on the half magic, but actually I think he even used a couple of oh my gosh.
Yeah, he shot a bit early there, and I think
I'm
it
so
would have been a better
scared.
start to go for this free-ish hammer hit at the start instead. Oh,
my
nice, we
God,
got there.
how did... Okay, unless my eyes were just playing tricks on me, it did not look like the hammer hit landed. But I'm glad that Xall was the survivor of this fight.
Yes.
And not Mothula. We might need to call in some reinforcements from Team Motabashin if Xall took a tumble for the worst. Okay, I am somewhat expecting Matt here to have a slightly smoother Mothula fight. Of course, Moth can always go kind of awry, but having, again, Tempered Sword, and Matt being an extremely talented NMG runner, I'm arguably Skull Woods is actually probably one of his best splits, including the boss, so I don't really envision things to go poorly.
Yeah, he's got this. Even if they did go poorly, we have a lot of health.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
We have capacity for it to not go well. Yeah, excellent fight.
Look at that.
Man,
Very,
off
very
that.
nice. Yeah, you can also tell a very nice metric that people use of split energy is how many spikes moved in the time between the start and when you end up catching the crystal for Mothula. And in this case, it's only 1. Obviously, the best one you can get is 10 out of 10. That is, or 0 spikes moving. Somewhat more difficult to do, but I mean, 9 out of 10 is still quite good. Yeah, very nice blind fights, though, from Jamo and MM2. Kind of much smoother. more maybe within rails. Yeah, but yeah, everyone's making some really good progress. Being able to basically just knock these crystals down. We got Hera down for MM2 at least. We got Skullwoods and Thieves Town, very, very normal ones to have.
Yeah. Let's see where M2 goes. So if I don't think he's at a type cave, right? So he has a decision between going north and south.
Yeah.
Probably going for the crystal off would be my guess, and then with the hammer we can just start linking score hype cave from there.
Oh no! Do you see what Matt's doing? This is unfortunate because I think he doesn't really have he wants to continue his route towards South Dark World, so he has to walk out of Skull Woods.
Yeah, we're missing 1 item too, so that's part of it too.
Oh, okay. That's true. I'd be pretty tempted, honestly, to just skip it. But I'm also not. Oh, by the way, speaking of hammer pegs, that's all.
Logic.
Yeah, we definitely. So Xall may not get that, if at all, because he ended up doing Village Backcast early without the hammer. I mean, but that being said, we have the Fire Rod. I don't really think, especially how good all 4 of these guys are, they probably don't need the lamp, especially with half magic for magic management.
Yeah. So I was wondering if I just missed Jamo doing it, but it looks like he just forgot about hammer packs instead.
Okay. You know what's a check that a lot of people like to forget intentionally? Where Xall is.
Oh, it's the fish.
You think there's any loot here? Maybe. That's a
I think this quantifies as negative loot.
Negative loot. Oh, I guess because you have to check it, right? You don't get the immediate notice of whether or not it is an item that you want.
Yeah, we just waste extra time picking this useless item up. That won't be anything.
Well, we're gonna check this immediately though. Looks like that's where Zall's headed.
Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna combine this into desert. He's been really intent on not going to the mountain. So maybe he will follow the book here, which might be where we're supposed to be.
Oh yeah, that is true. That's right. We got the book in the vanilla Biki chest of Skull Woods. Yeah. So, and of course that opens up tablets. Ether tablet being, of course, the most inconvenient to get to.
Oh, we're going to ice, right? I do have ice palace. That one seems pretty good right now. We can do everything there. We have Cane.
Ah, true.
We have half magic fire rod, sort of. Cold Step Fight is free. Yeah, this is just the best play right now. Kind of forgot that we can just do this.
Did you happen to catch where the bottle came from?
It was on the mountain in
okay.
Cave, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Because I'm noticing. Well, right. So I guess Zall didn't check Bumper Ledge. I assume we just went straight to Skull Woods, which is again, it's understandable. Bumper Ledge, being able to even scout it is. It looks like she doesn't have the cape either. So yeah, maybe there's even less reason for him to do so.
Yeah, he did count it. The cape is just.
Oh, he couldn't get it. Okay, right. Gotcha. That's right. Yeah. And so yeah, being here on Fighter Sword maybe isn't the most ideal. But however, you even pointed out this when we were in Skull Woods too. He has a hammer. He has half magic. And he has bombos here for Ice Palace. So I mean, like, he should be okay. There's lots of safeties for him to kind of compensate for not having another sword or two.
Yeah, the Cold Step Fight is basically free for him at this point. You know, like, things can always go wrong, but, you know, it's like a blind fight at this point, right? Usually it just goes right. Sometimes you end up using some burner on half a heart, but usually the fight is free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, talking about free, Jamo really has hammered down the fight with Macula. I should not wake up so early or late in order to do these broadcasts. And yeah, but yeah, crystal number looks like 2 down for Jamo. Now the 5-6 as well. Oh yeah, being an Ice Palace, this also opens up Pyramid Fairy, so that will also be pretty convenient.
Oh yeah, Scarlet's was the other one. Yeah.
Yeah, so this
might have been why. Yeah, I was one. Oh, well, maybe not wondering, but maybe a little bit concerned because Zall just did not Dark World into Catfish, but did not check Pyramid, which just ended up being orphaned. But turns out it's not orphaned at all. Because we can combine it with Pyramid Fairy. That's probably his plan all along. And then probably into Pod from there, maybe.
Yeah, so I guess like at this point, what do we still need for go mode? We need a bow, because Pod's a crystal, and we need a flute.
Yep, and Ether.
Oh, Ether. Right. Okay. I think honestly, that's not bad set of go mode items. Matt looks like the fact that he is swimming out of Hobo looks like he's going to be the last one to get his hammer, but he will get his hammer before kind of really doing much else. So this will be pretty nice. And then yeah, I would imagine he's gonna just follow Zall and Jamo into Ice Palace after all this stuff.
Yeah, depending on how far he wants to be, he might just actually leave after a waterfall and go straight to ice. Or if he doesn't to be skipping anything, he could also just do Zora and the ledge after this, and then save and quit Link's house, go ice. We'll see how aggressive he wants to be here. He might feel bad about getting this hammer so late.
Yeah, that's also very true. Because especially we had flippers from right. You said front of escape, back of escape, and something in the escape sequence, right? So all these checks were available basically right out of the gate, and the fact that he didn't have money, he didn't know that nobody else had money, but you could have gotten these like pretty early, especially. So now that being said, I don't really think the hammer has really hurt people, with the exception of being able to do Hera when people were already on the mountain.
Yeah, Hera ended up having nothing, so that one is kind of whatever. If you do it now or do it later with GT.
Oh yeah, that's true. As
long as, as long as you don't go back for it, that's the danger, I guess, that you do another mountain trip.
Yeah, especially with the book, and ether tablets up there as well, which is probably a check that MM2 is probably not going to go after for a bit as well, unless maybe of course the mirror shows up. But even then, MM2 is really not incentivized to go back the mountain unless he has to.
Yeah, something being on ether could be devastating for MM2 because he has already done with Hera.
Yeah.
And that could be, you know, a very good thing not having the hammer at the time for Jamo and Matt. Okay. So on Xall's screen, we're about to see 3 new checks in Pyramid Ferry and the Pyramid Ledge. That'll be interesting. We're running low on checks could have progression for us.
Yeah, because right now it does seem like the things that nice fourth sword in Pyramid Fairy.
Nice.
Yeah, the things that we would like to have, like the flute, for example, and now of course it helps with travel, but it also does open up the Mire area as well. And so there's still sections of the world that's closed off to us. And yeah, and so because those are things that we just can't access. Yeah, we're especially between all 4 of these guys, we don't have a lot left, other than kind of extremely undesirable checks. Like the Matt at least did the first leg of the Smith chain, so he's one step closer to purple chest. But these guys, especially without the mirror, they would be quite a number of trucks back and forth into the village.
Yeah, nobody is planning to do purple chest anytime soon. Like, it's probably just gonna be last occasion for all 4 of these. Even for Matt, who has already done the Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, I also want to mention, by the way, that this is not just a 4-person race, it's actually a 5-person race. Every week, in this case, because it's Casual Boost Ladder Champion, there are 4 races throughout the week that people can qualify for. So you just have to win that particular race. So there's 4 people, and then there's always going to be a defending champion. So in our particular case, MM2 is the defending champion, and then the person who, the 5th person in the race is actually Scottish Brave. She won one of the weekly races, but of course graciously allowed everyone else to be on restream. So she's also racing as part of this 5-person race, and we don't actually quite know how she's doing. I just assume that she's just crushing like she always does.
Yeah, so now eventually Xall ended up caving. Now he's up the mountain too. He's in a position where he can check ether. So if that one is progression, that could be very, very good for him.
That's also true. Looks like we got the ice rod. We did not, unfortunately, successfully make our way over to the other side of the mountain, but it's fine. In this case, if we don't succeed, we just save and quit, start over, because we've already rested the old man.
Yeah, this is barely this time. Not that bad.
So, okay, after these guys have finished up their crystals, especially so Jamo and Xall already finished up. Xall is going to finish up Dark Earth Mountain. Where would you like to go, Jam? And of our places that we cannot completely finish, or going to be a pendant dungeon?
I think Pod after Pyramid Ferry is very appealing here. That being said, Jamo hasn't done Catfish, but no, we're going Pod. Yeah.
Okay.
I was half expecting Xall to go there, but yeah, at this point, you just kind of cave and do the mountain, I think, in this position. Because there could just be a bow up there.
Yeah, it's so dense up there, especially now. Well, he still doesn't have the lamp, because it's not in logic, because he doesn't know the lamp is in hammer pegs. But even if it's not in logic, you have, 7, I don't know, umpteen checks up here from between Paradox and Spiral and Hera and Dark Death Mountain, and potentially, in this case, he has both rods now. He has the... he doesn't know that he can't get into, but there is potential for the rock as well. So.
Yeah, it's just too much up here. So it's hard to justify to yourself to do Pod or to go to Pendant Desert, which are basically the other 2 options you have. Smith and Purple Chest aren't real without the mirror, so
yeah,
those are really the things you could
do. Right, and Ether Tablet as well. We can actually see Xall quick swapping over through the book, just in case to remind himself that yes, it is in fact a thing.
Yeah, if this is Ether, this would be huge for him.
Vanilla Ether, a flute, 10 arrows for that
Arrows.
bow that we don't have, unfortunately. It's okay. We just needed that bow before Lamos.
Yeah, so unfortunate. He will find nothing useful on the mountain. Well, he finds the 2 things that lead to his 2 swords that he's missing. He will find the cape and a bottle in Darkness Mountain. But yeah, he'll go close to single dipping the mountain and then very, very understandably caved.
All right, that is gold sword for MM2 because he has already collected the other swords. Yeah, and Matt looks like the last one to finish up Pyramid Berry. Yeah, I presume in this case, like he also might go to Catfish, as you said, because Matt also hasn't done Catfish yet. But maybe the temptation of 5 items left in pod versus Catfish that is 1 item that takes probably, I don't know, just as long as clearing all the pod. I mean, that's an exaggeration, but yes, like that's how it feels like. We'll probably get to the pod. And how many times in this case, right, have you seen a bow to this dungeon, in pod, right? Like we've seen that quite often, so I would not be surprised in this case if something like that just shows up.
Yeah, we see a rare fairy revival camera unlock from Jamo here.
Oh, I
see very few people do that.
Yeah, I didn't catch Shooter Room. Was that a small key?
I did not catch that either. It must have been,
Well,
yeah, because I saw him in Summer's
he has
basement
one.
before this.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that means this dungeon isn't bow locked, so there could be... Well, no, there was only 1 key on the right side, so that still means we can go to the back.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking in this case that maybe Matt will not do the Bullock side. It's not that I don't think that he... Well, I don't know if he knows the fairy version of camera unlocking. But also, I don't think that he's really keen on mimic clipping either. And especially if, I don't know, if bow is one of the potential go mode items, maybe he's also just not interested in doing the right side quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with just going to the back. Like, you're really only punished if the right side has the big key and the big chest has ether or flute. So it makes sense to just go to the back here.
Yeah. Oh, look,
there's the bow. That bow is bow locked.
That is true, actually. Yes. I wonder where the other bow is.
Actually, it might not be because VT has like this conditional logic. It might not be because there's 1 key on the right side bow locked, but the key door on the way to Halma is also bow locked. So this might actually be a logic with just 5 keys.
Okay.
I don't know exactly
I guess we'll see.
Works in casual rules here.
I'm inclined to think that it is bow locked, so I'm not be surprised in this case if there is just kind of another bow sitting on somewhere that's actually logical, but just that out of the way, right? Could be as you mentioned, Pendant Desert, Pendant Eastern, Purple Chest. Like there are other options, for us to be there. So.
Yeah. Did you catch what Dark Maze had?
No. What did Dark Maze have?
It had a mirror.
It had a mirror. Great. Why didn't we come to pod earlier? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, just believe in podders.
Yeah, should have rushed pod way earlier, I guess, in this case. Could have finished up pod. Well, okay, I guess everybody's going to be able to finish a pod. And everyone's kind of already in at the pod vicinity in various stages, right? Basically, if you go into pod, then you're going to be able to finish it, whether you, of course, like it or not.
Yeah, so we're looking at Pendant Swamp now. So, like, this mirror isn't actually great, but it definitely opens up a lot of potential progression.
Yeah. I was even thinking in the back of my head, like, maybe the mirror doesn't have to show up. That would be actually kind of nice, because there are mirror checks right now, especially that are somewhat either inconvenient or just kind of orphaned or isolated, because like we've already done King's Tomb. Most, if not all, people have already scouted and gotten Bumper Ledge, and so to be able to go back into Dark World right there just for a Graveyard Ledge is something that you really don't want to do. But I guess on the other hand, now it makes the Smith Chain a little bit more convenient because you have the mirror. On the other hand, do you want to do Smith Chain? I don't know. With or without
No,
the mirror.
really don't.
So yeah, it's and then yeah, as you mentioned, right, the mirror also the big one is gonna be opening up swamp, and do you really want to go in there? It's a pendant. It does have a little bit more value because it's green pendant. You can turn in. But yeah, this is when like the casual boots or rando decision making can get a little bit more difficult because it's not as clear cut in that you're going to be able to get progression or something that you want, you know, at the end of whatever, you know, 5-6 minutes, right?
Yep. Yeah. That's the cool thing about open mode. You're just looking for 2 items, and now you have to decide if you want to do the pendant dungeon or go to these one-off mirror locations.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking of pendant up, I mean, we're here in Xall, in Pendant Desert. Now, I know that he's not going to get progression here because he didn't come here with a bow. So if he peels Lamos, you know, I mean, he already knew what's coming.
Yep. I mean, he doesn't need to go to Lamos, so like progression could be somewhere else.
That's true. That's true. He already got 1 item here in the front, which is in the big chest. Did we do right side yet? I don't think we have, so
No.
maybe there'll just be the other item here.
Yeah, just 1 item left. If the flute is here, this could be absolutely huge for Xall, or an ether leading to the flute and tiara. But it's definitely looking slim. The chances are definitely looking slim. Yeah, there's nothing here.
Yeah, we got our 2 items in the front, and we did not get a pedestal check from anybody. Not that we really were going to. Book was in Skull Woods, big heat chest. However, we didn't have the mirror at the time, and to be able to just do a pedestal check that's a one-off is a pretty unless you're very, very confident that you think pedestal is something, in which case maybe you can just go after the pendants and not go read ped, or like taking an extra, I don't know, was probably like a minute investment just to go see what's on pedestal is not probably going to be very efficient.
No. Yeah, he would have been in a really good position if something happened in Desert, because everybody else is gonna waste time doing Swamp with this mirror. And he might have ended up being in BOGO mode. But yeah, now it looks like we do need to go to pod for progression. Everything is probably against his mirror at this point.
Yeah, but looks like maybe Xall's gonna go do. He's back in Village of Outcast, so maybe this is gonna be the first half of Smith Chain, or just the Smith. I don't think we have.
I really don't see what else it could be. Yeah. Well, yes, hammer pegs.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I forgot about hammer pegs. Yeah.
But yeah, that's it.
Alright, yeah, but yeah, with the mirror, more convenient way, Matt is actually on the other half of the mountain. We can now get to more quickly. He's going to pick up his 10 arrows that he is going to use in preparation for Bolamos. I'm copium. But yeah, very understandable. He is going to get his next crystal with Hera.
Yeah, Matt and Jamo decided to just go to Hera. That those were the 2 that hadn't here yet after the mirror, which makes sense. It's a crystal. You have 3 items here. So, yeah, just get this out of the way. You just want to get this done before you have to make a decision on going to Swamp or not.
Yeah, and I kind of assume that maybe Matt and Jamo will also do Spike Cave while you're here. After Hera, because you don't really have anything else to kind of do in this area. You've already finished the dungeons. You finished up the book or the tablet, and it's just kind of like a last check that you can do. Everything's in logic, and that's what looks like Jamo's gonna do.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, actually 4 items, which makes this even more tempting. But yeah, where are we going next? That's gonna be interesting.
When do you think that people will go into Eastern for their inevitable flute?
MM2 has a chance, has an opportunity to mirror here. He is already done with. Nope, never mind.
Yeah, Pendant Eastern and these non-keys like open time modes. If you don't have a bow early, it is like if something's there, even though it is Sphere 1 or Sphere 0 or whatever you consider to be, because you can literally just walk into Eastern and open up 4 chests, right? and inevitably it's just gonna be last location.
Yeah, for some reason, I'm the same. It's just impossible to go into Pendant Eastern in open mode.
yeah, some people have this issue in non-open keys modes as well. So I'm wondering if it's maybe something about Eastern Palace itself.
Okay, so Jamo,
yeah.
So Jamo's going back to hammer or Smith Chain hammer packs here. This makes sense because he knows he's not in logic. So we know it's just a lamp, but it could also just be some other type of logic. It could be the food.
Yeah, by the way,
so it makes sense that he's doing this. He's gonna combine this into Swamp after Purple Chest.
Yeah. That's true. We can run things down. We kind of have to run things down. We don't have a flute to conveniently take us to the locksmith dude. No, by the way, I was gonna say, MM2, while he's going into Swamp, he did do Bombo's tablet before this, and he got a mushroom out of it. Normally, it would be kind of, yeah. Like, with the flute, it would have been kind of nice to just be able to quickly turn it in as a one-off. We do not condone fake powdering in this stream. So, but that being said, we are missing a flute, so we...
Oh my god, we have the flute. It's on Purple Chest.
Oh, it's on Purple Chest? Oh my gosh, dude!
Wait, this is... Wow, okay. This is actually huge.
This is very good for Xall. Probably very good for Jamo as well. Presumably this is what Jamo's doing. As you mentioned, we're going to run down the Purple Chest in the Swamp. I don't know if he's going to actually do Swamp then with that flute.
No way. We go do Meyer and try to find Ether over there first. This could be a comeback for Xall, but I think Jamo is still gonna be ahead here. Probably.
Yeah. And it kind of depends on what also is in Swamp for MM2 and Matt. And so if there is something in Swamp, well, what could we all need right now? Ether, maybe?
It's just Ether, yeah.
Yeah. So then if this time is fruitful for Matt and MM2, then Jamo and Xall will eventually have to come here. So it's not like this Matt and MM2 are just spending the time for nothing. Now that being said, though, right, if Ether is somewhere in the Meyer area, then yes, this part Jamo and Xall can just completely skip.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting with that flute on Purple Chest all of a sudden.
Alright, but Xall's going to be the first one to give the check over to Meyer's Shed, which in this case is not useful. We do not have the mirror, unfortunately, on Xall's side, so we can't check checkerboard. We can only really go in. What is Meyer? I assume we have it. Bombos? Okay.
Looks like it, yeah. That's Xall not auto track. For some reason, he doesn't have Quake marked, which I'm sure he got out of Super Bunny. Wait, he doesn't have Cape either. Wait.
Did he go to Super Bunny? Okay, I didn't catch that part. But I kind of just assumed that everybody was auto tracking at this point.
Yeah, maybe he just did do Super Bunny then. He does have the bottle from Hookshot Cave, so maybe he just forgot. I doubt it's an intention.
Oh dear. Well, okay. I mean, the cape is not going to be the end of the world, and we know the Quake is not necessary. But so if he did somehow forgetting or opting to not do it, then it's not going to punish him. But it's kind of funny. 2 trackable items in there, and we find anything by the way in the Swamp so far?
No. I think I found powder.
Powder? Okay.
I see it on yeah, there it is.
Oh,
that's
Ether! Oh my gosh, dude. Oh. Suddenly, the tides might be swinging a bit over MM2 to MM2 and Matt's side. No pun intended, because they're in Swamp. There are no tides here, just riptides.
Yeah, who is
that is
ahead now? I
don't know. I mean, would you rather be in Go mode or would you rather be in Ether Go mode? Flute,
I think Jamo's probably ahead. The problem is you don't really want to do Smith Chain. Now I don't know, like you definitely do TR now. And then you have to decide between Desert, Eastern, and doing Smith Chain. Without your flute. I think Matt is probably just doomed. Because he's already done the Smith, so it's just Purple Chest at this point. Like, there's no way he makes a decision to go there.
That is really unfortunate. Well, at least he's gonna do Turtle Rock because he knows that it's open to him. So that is at least something that. Yes, Go Mode Turtle Rock is still going to be slower. Sorry, non-Go Mode Turtle Rock is still going to be slower than Go Mode Turtle Rock, but at least it's going to be a dungeon crystal at the end. But yeah, to being able to go back just for purple chest as a, in this case, isolated. Isolated check is going to be harder to ask him for. Because especially in this case, he has other locations that's open to him that's more dense. Even Pennant Eastern is something, right, that can yield him up to 3 items. Pennant Desert, Calypso Pedestal.
Yeah. I don't think Matt ever does this. MM2 might be fine if he does Smith Chain after TR. It's still kind of hard to convince yourself that because everybody has Smith Chain. And he already has done hammer packs. But he hasn't done powder, so that could be something that nudges him over there. Jamo is probably in best position here because he's gonna do Mire. He is gonna get his 2 items out of Desert and get checkerboard. But then, like, his best thing is just Swamp, so he's just gonna go Swamp. So that's basically the timer everybody's on. Xall needs to go to pod, but he might be overall maybe a bit too far behind. I don't know. If he finds a bow here, I think there's 1 item left. It's hard to read his tracker, but there isn't an open chest where my item count is. So there's still an item left. That could be the bow. That could be the pod.
Good call.
But that's he needs either that or just a decision by itself to go to pod right after this to stay in this race at all.
I wonder what that other bow is. Because I guess we're not quite sure if the bow in Harmless Hellway is actually the logical bow, because like it maybe depends on where the other one is. Like if we never find the other one, as in like maybe it's in GT somewhere, then we know that was a logical bow. But it also doesn't have to be. Maybe there's just a bow sitting at Eastern as well. Nobody really knows. Maybe there's a bow here in Turtle Rock.
Yeah,
of course.
That's definitely all possible. Harmless Highway is in the contest. Okay, yeah, I thought so.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the way it was. So yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of no bow, by the way, fighting off Vitreous, not maybe the most pleasant fight. At least we have Tempered Sword this time, so we can just kind of slash him a bunch.
Yeah, it's slower, but it's like not the end of the world slower to use Tempered Sword here or the hammer. But yeah, it looks like no bow in Mire, so Xall really needs to just go to pod right now, stay in this race.
Yeah,
at least he gets to skip checkerboard.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, watch that have our silvers or something. It's like the one thing that you end up skipping. That's extremely convenient. It just has something good for you. Although Xall kind of already did that. He had he skipped Super Bunny presumably, or he doesn't.
Oh, we're going back to Super Bunny now.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's the only thing he has left on the mountain. This has to be Super Bunny.
Oh no.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Does he have? Was he up here with the hammer? Oh no, Xall was up here with the hammer, and he was able to do like Hera and Ether Tablet together. Right. Yeah. Pretty nice sync, honestly, on the left-hand side. MM2 and Matt going through Turtle Rock at the same time. Just one screen apart.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I know that Matt also is kind of doing some de-rust runs for coming up for NMG League, presumably. So Turtle Rock is one of those splits that, especially right now, I mean, the full claim Turtle Rock, you go through a lot of the same runes that you do in NMG. So, of course, you have some nicer equipment like Fire Rod, Gold Sword, things that you don't normally have the pleasure of having in just NMG. But of course, also you don't have to do Mimic Cave either, so... Yeah, but
looks like Xall also still had Spiral Cave open. So.
Oh, okay. Okay. It's
But
okay.
yeah,
I mean, I think it's
understandable,
probably
kinda.
fine. Yeah. If you
Without
wanna
mirror,
try
it's just
and-
kind of awful to
Mhm.
combine it.
Oh, look, it's a vanilla heart piece. For both of them. Or like, you got a refill on both of them, so.
Nice. I thought
Yeah,
the
these are-
ice rod is in vanilla.
I mean, it was taking a spring break, honestly, right? Normally it'd be sitting somewhere in Turtle Rock, but then it's like, oh, the weather's pretty nice. Let me stretch my legs a little bit, and then they decided to chill out in Spec Rock.
Okay, we're fluting to 5 on Zos. We're going to Dark World. Okay, this is Paul. This is what he needs. I don't think it's enough.
He still needs that.
Because Jamo
No, he does right. He has the flute. Yeah. So he'll get his bow here, but then he still has to decide to go to Swamp, right?
Yeah. And Jamo is just gonna go to Swamp right now after this. Actually, well, he's gonna get his 2 items out of Desert, but he doesn't need to kill the boss. And he's gonna get Checkerboard and Agana, which I don't think he's done either.
Yeah, nobody's really.
But that's all. That should all be faster than the full clear of Pod that Zal is doing. So Jamo should be ahead into Swamp. Unless he decides to do other mirror checks. But there isn't really much left since he's already done Purple Chest, so it would really just be Graveyard Ledge, which you don't take over Swamp.
Yeah. I like how, by the way, MM2 and Matt were just kind of keeping lockstep. Execution was really nice and clean, and then Laser Bridge was like the thing that broke them both.
Yep, suddenly Matt is ahead.
Yeah,
Went from 1 room behind to 1 room ahead.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no, the Poke went down with the ice.
There's so much drama at the end of the
Great equalizer.
Yeah. Okay, but this is gonna be crystal number something for looks like 6 maybe? Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we need some nice backdoor strats. A little bit easier, of course, with the Gold Sword, because you don't need that many slashes, half as many slashes.
Right, GG Matt, you win.
Yep.
You win the Turtle Rock execution race.
That's right. That's right. All right, let's see where these guys decide to go after Turtle Rock to go look for their flutes. As you mentioned, right, both MM2 and Matt don't have an incentive to go do Purple Chest, so kind of see in this case what their timer situation is going to be like.
Yeah. Also, are we death swapping or are we doing the fairy camera unlock? Like, surely this is the camera unlock. Yeah. Okay. I was worried that he was trying to death swap out of Turtle Summer's basement with this much health. Wait, but
I guess
he's gonna use bombs. Okay.
Bombs, yeah. Okay, as you mentioned, in this case, Jamo finished up Desert Palace. Again, very 2 quick checks in the front, did checkerboard, and he's gonna go to Swamp. Yeah, so the timer is ticking for both M2 and for Matt. Right, turning green pennant, we certainly knew that it was not expected to be anything. Again, silvers would have been nice to see, because it's really the only safety this kid that can show up that would really actually benefit anybody at this point. So, did Jamo forget something? Jamo forgot to drain the water. Very classic. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Just giving MM2 and Matt a little bit more time to go through Pennant Easter. Oh, this is actually pretty funny.
Yeah,
Does it see it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think this puts Jamo in the lead. With MM2 and... Well, Matt was bound to go here on Desert, since he has Purple Chest left, but MM2 had a chance to do Smith Chain, since he has 3 items in it. But yeah, with that, both of them going to Eastern, Jamo is just solidly in the lead now. With Zal, unfortunately failing the camera unlock and now doing a very slow Mimic Club is also wasting time he doesn't have.
I think he. Look,
Hey,
there's the
there's
other
the
bow
other
in Eastern. Just. Oh, this game is hilarious.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking like, well, Xall could in fact just stop. I mean, I think maybe at this point he's just more determined to finish up the clip if he is just even trying to learn on the fly. But he might be a little bit more tilted after seeing the bow just in the back of pot that he was inevitably gonna get back to.
Yeah. Yeah. There is no reason to mimic clip here because you are looking for the bow. You're basically last getting, so just go to the back first. But we clipped out the mimic. Nice job.
All right, well done, Xall.
Yeah, and according to Mofta, he's never mimic clipped before, so this was his first
Great.
attempt. So
Yeah,
nice job.
Yeah. Scene first here on SpeedGaming. First mimic clip by Xall. Alright, looks like mm2 and Matt. Okay, Lee's gonna go to big key chest to get an item because we did see a compass in the big chest. I don't know if they will decide to finish up the dungeon, especially if there's an item left on the boss. I don't know if they're gonna go for pedestal. But yeah, it looks like as Jamo is closing in basically on Argus, and yeah, this is gonna be his go mode, and he's gonna be able to go back to the mountain and finish up to the rock, go mode it, which then of course we kind of saw that he doesn't have to do the extra stuff, right? Like mimic cave, roller room. Oh, maybe roller room. I forgot where the keys were.
Yeah,
but certainly don't have to go outside.
Yeah, he's just solidly in the lead now. He's also about to pick up his bow.
His bow. I'm so sorry. You know what? Okay, it is the accomplishment of being able to mimic clip. All right. So when there is need, there is progress, right? And innovation. And Xall has now done something that he hasn't done before, even though maybe it took a little bit of extra time. But the first time's never going to be perfect. But you know, this is he can say now he has successfully mimic clipped, whereas before he could not.
Yeah, true. Xall doesn't need to. Oh no, okay. No, I see why he does the hammer jump here because he doesn't have the mirror. Makes sense.
Little does he know, the mirror
Yes.
again is just gonna be here in Dark Maze, and it is yeah. Pod is one, yeah. Like I think people have mentioned this before. One, coming to Pod is late, especially right when you actually see in this case like the bow, and you'll find the mirror is you know, it's already kind of punishing, but also like you're trying to do all these things and just kind of get the thing that you were kind of looking for, so you didn't have to spend all this time extra whittling your life down, especially with blue mail and so many hearts, right?
Yeah, he
Maybe
must
one
be
day,
so
just,
annoyed right now.
Yeah. Okay, this looks like, unfortunately, not Swamp. Matt has the book out, which again, for those of you maybe who watches him do NMG runs, this is pretty much exactly, all the dash lines are exactly the same. MM2 is following suit. So we're gonna get a clear of in the desert.
Yeah, both of these guys are now coping for pad. They picked up these pendants, one of them was useless, so now we're going to get the last one. That's just unfortunately how it goes.
Yeah, actually maybe it looks like MM2 is gonna beat Matt into desert. Just because Matt's gonna do Agina first.
I don't think
it would do.
Well, so it's faster to do Agina after desert and then saving put out of there, but desert is a way heftier time investment than Agina. So Matt Agina first because if he finds fruit there, he's just done, right? He doesn't need to do desert at all. I think MM2 just copes harder for pad right now, so he decided not to do Agina.
Be kind of
be my guess.
Pretty punishing find though, like Flute and Agina. It's like literally again Sphere 1. You could have had it since the beginning. Of course, it's a very difficult location to get to, especially we had Dark World access so early, and of course very late Mirror and Flute. Well, they're Flute is go mode at this point, so it's still hard to get to. But you know, still you don't ever feel good when you have to leave something.
Yeah, M2 probably just feels bad enough that he just says, if it's Agina, I'm done. I don't win, so... Yeah, he might not even check it at all.
Yeah, looks like it. MM2. He's got both out of the front of desert, and he's gonna go beat Lamos. I somehow do not envision any any type of correct weaponry usage. However, MM2 could surprise me, and pleasantly. Yeah, but we do know that he's not gonna be able to. It looks like he didn't do right side desert, so maybe he thinks this is gonna be an item. So at least he's gonna get a pendant out of it as well. And yeah, as you mentioned, coping for ped is gonna be something. Matt, on the other hand, he is leaving. No pendant catch for him. Where are we going, Matt?
This
is
Sank
interesting
that he...
How high is our copium?
I mean, what does he have left? It's gotta be
Camera
full
fix?
set.
Yeah, and powder.
Oh yeah, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, I guess it isn't even that bad for him. No, he did. Did he do hammer picks?
No,
I guess he didn't.
lamp.
Right?
Well, I mean, he could have done
Yeah.
hammer picks, I guess, but then he would have just
he
left the
didn't.
lamp. And I can't imagine him just wanting to leave the lamp behind.
Yeah, so I guess purple chest wasn't as bad for Matt as I made it out to be earlier. But yeah, he still decided to get the pendants first.
Mm-hmm.
Also, M2 used silvers.
Well, I mean, yeah, and he used silvers and gold sword. If you see how many cycles it was, like, he could have just used the regular bow. Would have been better.
Disgusting. Yeah, so Zal decided to mirror and do Eastern here. It's understandable. I mean, honestly,
And then he
it's
found the
probably
other
the right
bow,
call to make.
which is even tilting, more tilting.
Yeah. Honestly, this is probably the correct move for Zal to make here because everybody's so he knows he's in a very bad spot. But it's probably the right assumption for him. Not unlikely. Like if he thinks about what the others do, it's not unlikely to assume that they just after the mirror went swap and mirror checks and stuff. So mirroring here and doing Eastern, I think, makes a lot of sense in this position because nobody likes to Eastern, but that could be his out.
Yeah.
From his
Looks like at
perspective.
least so far, right? All right, let's say. Ooh, is this gonna be a pedestal check for MM2? Oh yeah.
yeah.
Okay. That's yeah. I was like, why don't we go do the left side, which is the Three Musketeers screen? And I realized we don't have a flute, so this makes more sense. Yeah. All right. Well, at least Matt is walking the purple chest down, so this is going to be go mode for him relatively shortly. But of course, you see in this case Jamo being able to go mode Turtle Rock, almost already done with Trinex himself, and he's just going to have to go and run GT versus Matt. Even though he does have the flute now, go activate it, and then he still has to go finish up Meyer. And I don't remember where the big key was. So maybe this can be a little bit of time save, because I think Jamo did a vanilla big key chest. Which is certainly longer, but it's not going to be probably enough to... Yeah. Oh, it was vanilla? Okay, then never mind.
Yeah,
Yep, then never mind. Matt's going to spend the exact same amount of time, basically, as Jamo, and yeah, it's definitely not going to be enough. Barring disasters happening on Jamo's side, that looks like Jamo has a pretty comfortable lead versus the other three.
Yeah.
Have we not done the game on MM2 side?
We didn't have... No, we had a hammer. Oh no, because MM2, the thieves found this fire rod, went up to Skull. And then Saving quit and then the type cave.
Oh, right, yeah.
To somewhere. I think. Maybe we just skip this. I don't remember. We'll see if there's Stumpy.
At least we were able to run out before the timer cut off. Okay, but this looks like it could be maybe the rest of the Smith phase. He'll pick up the Smith, turn him in, and then go to run down purple chest in addition with Stumpy and maybe K45 if he hasn't done that yet with the mirror. Yeah, alright, Jamo's in GT. And looks like he's gonna do... did he already do left side? He has 3 keys, so I'm gonna assume this is not his first time over on the right side.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just looking for the big key. Very normal casual boots end game.
And we
Probably
know
feeling
that
pretty good.
Jamo. Yeah. I mean, Jamo's route seems actually pretty smooth. Honestly, all things considered, like he got his fluke pretty early, and certainly like the one of the earliest ones. And then kind of with that, he was able to have an ether go mode, and ether just happened to be in swamp, which is like one of the most dense locations you can get to. And so he didn't really end up isolating anything in his path either. And I don't really think he really did anything much extra. So yeah, it must be. I think his route has been pretty good.
Yeah, his route just worked out the best out of all of these. I think maybe Al's route had the most potential. If after Pyramid Ferry he had just gone to pot, but it's just such a difficult decision to make when you have all of the mountain left still. So it's just not happening. Like at some point you just give in and go to the mountain, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see if Jamo will actually open up any more chests than he has to, like especially in Upper GT. We know that he can't get silvers because they're just sitting in Eastern map chests, but he doesn't know that. So I don't know if it's worth his time, honestly. Jamo was, I guess, a pretty seasoned NMG runner quite a while back, and then took a very long break from playing this game in general. Decided to come back recently, and you can actually see he has just been tearing it apart. And so execution's been very solid, and so he's very experienced with silverless cannon.
Yeah, just been crushing it from the start. He was the escape winner, only by half a second over Matt and Xall, who came in tight, half a second behind him. But he did win the escape race, and he has just been crushing it ever since. So, yeah, just
So you're
very,
telling
very,
me,
very, very strong showing.
You're telling me, yeah, that we did not need to see the rest of like the hour and 20-minute race. We just need to see the escape race, and then that already determined the winner of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's how it always goes. That's why everybody just cares about that. The rest is just, there for
very, very understandable.
For the content.
That's why don't do map checks to just throw away your 3 seconds of time. It's very important that you win the escape race.
Exactly. That's why MM2 is gonna come in last, I think. I think he's behind. Yeah, Maya takes forever since the big key is vanilla, so he's definitely getting Xall. So yeah.
And then also MM2 has another mountain climb, which Xall is already kind of folding that into his Turtle Rock clear.
Yep.
Yeah, and a Gomo Turtle Rock, or I mean pseudo Gomo Turtle Rock. Yeah, I think it's going to be faster than basically full clearing, because especially the big key is vanilla. Unless you decide to go there directly, you'll probably end up doing like a bunch of other checks before you're finding it.
Yeah, but looks like the GT big key was almost vanilla. One chest to the left.
Okay. Okay, so we
now
did do
Jamo. Yes. Jamo on the climb now. Gonna tear up the gauntlet real quick and then probably win this race, unless Scottish is ahead of him.
Yeah, also I think maybe in Rando, it's certainly going to be rewarding in its own right to be able to do all the boss fights quickly and efficiently. But in this case, especially for Ice Armos, you actually see, unlike NMG, right, when you go get the big key, behind Ice Armos, there's usually 10 arrows to kind of help you out, to ease up your arrow management. But if you end up running out of arrows or are extremely low, suddenly your Mimics 1 and 2 might be a little bit more challenging. I mean, obviously no problem for Xall, right? Because we saw him mimic clip, right, in the back of pod. Yeah. So clearly, top of GT is not going to be an issue for him. But just in case, for other people, you might want to try and spare some arrows. Now, it's not going to be an issue, I think, for MM2 and Matt, especially when they have silver. So the arrow usage is something we don't really care anymore.
Yeah, very hard to run out of arrows if you have silvers, unless you do like, I don't know, Amos, Vitreous, Ice Amos back to back, but even then it's like hard to run out of it because that's not 30 arrows, that's less. He's all getting a little bit bullied by the chomps there.
Yeah, well, we have blue mail, which is certainly gonna make things a lot nicer for these late game dungeons and content. Just because, well, things hit a lot harder, but you at least have some reprieve from all of the damage. Matt somehow ended up with red mail. I don't know where he ended up getting this.
Me neither. I thought I saw it somewhere. I think it was in Desert. Is that right?
Oh, okay. No, Desert was 10 arrows and 3 bombs.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of the blue mail that we saw in Hera. Yeah, I don't remember what it was. MM2 also has red mail, so maybe it's on the bat. Because I think only those two that powder.
Saving time, being able to shoot fire rod shots through the moving blocks.
Ooh. Secret attack.
Yes. Yeah. Jamo is through the gauntlet, almost to Agatu. Yeah, so this should be. Jamo also has run a lot of the spoiler as well, both a solo spoiler and pilot spoiler. Like he is the runner, usually being piloted by Gamma. And so I think this type of fight is more than comfortable for him.
Yeah, Jamo is just insanely good. He's running all the types of things that also just make you a better player of this game. And like he, right? Because you can be good at the game, but if you run lots of different things, you know, like aside from open, you run like Sanity, that makes you think about logic a lot. Same with entrance. You play spoiler, that helps you both deal with low % execution, but also really staying on track with trying to be fast in every room. And just playing all those different modes on top of being very focused on your execution, which Jamo is. Like, those just all help to make you a very, very, very strong runner, which Jamo just is.
Yeah, and of course,
like
yeah,
it's crazy how good this guy is after appearing on the scene not that long ago. Which he already had like the execution advantage, right, from just speedrunning this game like a long time ago. But there's more to this game than execution, right? Like you see many NMG runners start playing rando and they're just not that good at rando, so they still don't place very high. But Jamo is just like basically a full package and just very, very strong at the game.
Yeah, you also see, as you mentioned before, just playing more rando helps you also be more consistent, and yeah, it gets you in a better mindset of being able to make good decisions. I think actually at some point people have said, especially some of the energy runners coming over and playing some rando, one of the things that they really struggle with at the beginning, especially, is the decision making part. We don't know what's like a good decision. We don't know what's like a bad decision, and how do you in this case evaluate 3 different options, right, for what you would do, and just being able to have that kind of mindset, especially for playing so much rando, yeah, gives you a pretty significant advantage. It can actually, and to kind of also counter off or balance some of the execution. Yeah, but yeah, very nice switch glitch on Jamo's side. I mean, this is again just fairly routine for him. Matt is almost at the big key. We're almost there. But yeah, just looking at kind of like some of the time differences though, Matt's gonna be able to pick up his big key maybe before Jamo finishes? Question mark. Pretty close.
I don't think so, but it's gonna be very close. Yeah, no, it's not close at all. I did not count.
Right. Yeah, but very well done on Jamo's side. Very smooth route, excellent execution throughout, and of course the winner of the escape race as well.
Yeah, honestly, just crushed from start to finish. GG's. Nice job.
Yeah,
so looking at Scottish's stream, she is in Gauntlet 2 right now, so en route to being second to this race.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, very, very, very strong showing from Jamo. And seeing how Jamo won, Matt says this is enough. Understandable. You still have a full climb, and again, right ahead of you, so you can save yourself the time. Something to play. Probably also not feeling great after how the seed went, which is understandable.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as you mentioned before, like purple chest wasn't really the. I mean, it wasn't as isolated as maybe it could have been, but still, it's not exactly something that was very top of mind or higher on the priority list, right? Like he did all Eastern, and yeah, he did get silvers out of them, which I mean, it's certainly not going to be enough of a time save to kind of counteract the amount of time it took to the silvers would save, but still, yeah. All right, looks like we're just joined by Jamo, today's winner. GG's Jamo. Well done.
Oh, GG.
GG's Jamo.
So you said before the race, Clearmost always rolls Pendant Desert.
Correct.
Yep. Sure does.
Yes. But yeah, very well done on the round. You did win the escape race by 0.5 seconds, so congratulations.
Oh, who was second? Matt?
Matt
Matt and
Zal.
Zal tied.
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Were they
Yeah,
sub
and
5
then-
as well?
No, I think they were like very. Yeah, I think they were just like just above, maybe.
I
Yeah.
think mine was like barely 459. I messed
Yeah.
up one room though. I messed up the stealth room. I always mess that room up. But the rest was clean enough.
Yeah, was enough to win.
Yeah,
MM2
that's
was
the
out of
important
contention
part.
because he map checked. That was his mistake.
Rookie mistake.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I was ahead or not. Like, felt decent about getting the stuff in pod and the purple chest. But then I felt bad about doing like desert and stuff and mire. That was really slow. I felt like as soon as I got that lamp, I wanted to be in swamp, but the flute led me away from it.
I think finding the flute before Ether ended up being better, which let pull ahead. Because
I guess
both
because
MM2
people had
and
to
Matt.
climb mountain an extra time because they did Turtle Rock
Yep.
first.
Yeah, exactly. And they also just had less incentives to go for a purple chest, so they did Eastern and Desert without flute first.
Hmm. Yo, MM2, GG.
Yo, MM2.
Yo.
We're also joined by a
It's-
person who's also racing, still playing.
I'm not racing, I
but-
forfeited.
Oh, you forfeited? Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Playing well
You did.
forfeited.
Okay. I see.
But yeah, GG's.
Maybe.
Yeah, I guess after the mirror, I was like, Swamp is out of logic because it's lamp locked, I guess, so it's still out of logic. But yeah, so I decided like, what did I have at that point? I had like Swamp, Desert, Purple Chest and stuff, but I also had like Sick Kid and stuff still. So yeah, I decided to go to CAC first and do like Smith Chain into Swamp probably. Smith Chain into Desert or Smith Chain into Swamp, either one of those. But then obviously getting the flute, I decided when Meyer does it after.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you forget about Hammer Packs when you were in Wu the first time?
No, I decided not to do it. It just seems kind of slow to go there if I'm not committing to Smith Chain. But I don't know. Yeah, I guess you could do it as a one-off there. Like, I was kind of 50-50 on doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one way you didn't do it. But makes sense.
Oh, right, because Hammer Pegs was the lamp. Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of weird because it was down to like flute and ether for go mode, but like all that stuff on mountain might be flute locked anyway. And then mirror also was like lamp locked out of logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I figured that's why you decided against Swamp at the time and went to do the Smith Chain.
Yeah, Yeah, but as soon as I got the lamp, I was like, now I want to do Swamp after Bombo's Tablet. So obviously getting that flute, maybe do Meyer first. I think I did a bad order in Meyer as well, because I realized it had to be an item or a big key on cutscene, so I should have done that like right after Compass.
Definitely would have been good.
Yeah, I guess that is true. Because you had
Yeah,
map
like if you
compass.
get map compass and a small key, then yeah, it's an item or a big key.
Mhm.
Yeah, I get it. I'm too like you and Matt had very, very similar routes. You actually like for quite a bit of the race that you were basically in sync. In fact, I think you were in Turtle Rock like within one screen of each other.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So yeah, follow kind of the same things. You and Matt also kind of I guess isolated purple chest / Smith chain ish. So then
Yeah.
it was extremely late, and then you guys both dove into swamp around the same time. Got your ether medallion, and yeah. So
Yeah. After pod, I was like, I'm just gonna go directly to swamp, and then I did that, and then I found ether, so I chased ether to TR, and there was nothing in TR, and I was like, well, I lose, because that's how these go. But I mean, that's just how you gotta play it.
yeah, it looks like you were maybe targeting Ped a little bit more too, because you ended up beating Lamo and before I guess checking Ped.
And then you didn't even pull it.
Yeah. Well, of course I didn't. That's slug.
Disgusting.
Oh yeah, so the last bow was in Eastern. Did anybody get the Eastern bow?
I did.
Yeah, both Matt and MM2 got it around the same time.
Although after the pod bow, I guess, right? Like that wasn't your first bow.
Yeah, my pod bow was the first bow for me.
Okay. It kind of made sense. I assume you did like Pyramid Fairy into pod dip. That made a lot of sense.
I did Pyramid Fairy to Catfish, and then I did Saha to pod afterward. Because I just wanted to get more checks in to hopefully find a bow and not have to double dip pod.
Yeah.
Or to get a mirror and do pod into Eastern or something.
I hate non-keys logic though. Like that bow that bow in pod was in logic, I think, right? Because there's only one key on bow lock side.
Yeah, one key on
it's
bow lock
basically
side.
like 5. It's only 5 key lock, not 6. Yeah. I'm always so confused by non-keys logic. But yeah, I guess if I had the lamp, I probably would have rushed swamp over doing Smith chain. So yeah, I can see how that happened. So you guys got the lamp doing hammer pegs, like.
Oh, I suck.
And also, you're less encouraged to go to Smith chain if you've already done hammer pegs as well.
Yeah, I had like all of dig game Stumpy K45 Smith purple chest left there, and I was like, well, I'm literally going to never do that. Because I did my village route was I did Vu, Thieves, and then Hammer Pegs, and then I took the Fire on the Skull, and then I save quit and went to other places.
Did you get the hammer before Darkworld, doing Darkworld as well?
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, I did full Mountain and then Zora before Darkworld at all. I at least got a hammer out of that.
Yeah,
MM2 was the only one that had the hammer for the mountain the first time.
That's actually crazy. I would have.
Oh, yeah.
I guess I was considering saving quitting out of Mini Moldrum Cave, but I didn't make the decision. I was like in the transition out of the screen, and I was like, well, I could do this, but I've already gone far enough. I'm just not going to.
Wait, so did you do it without Zora money, or did you?
Yeah, I did it with no Zora money. So I never checked Zora.
Yeah, for me, there's like since I have flippers, I'm gonna water walk from Ice Shroud Cave to Hobo, and then since I don't have Zora money, I'm not gonna go to Zora area after that. Like, hope I get Zora money on Mountain, which I did. But yeah, it would have been bad if Hera was required without mirror or something.
Yeah, Hera without mirror would have been good for me, but it wasn't how it worked out. But yeah, I mean, GG's. Thanks to Duncan for organizing this every week, and thanks to Cornmouse and Gem for commentating.
You have a very interesting timer, MM2, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I don't actually normally use that. I just use that for today because I wanted to annoy people.
Yeah, it's what it.
I'm honestly like surprised SG didn't hide it because they have hidden Flat Split from other
Have they?
people.
I see.
Yeah, it's like actually a thing in Super Metroid. Like not like we have a rule about it, a thing, but I've seen them hide Flat Split, but we see it a lot more in Super Metroid.
But yeah, GG's, and thanks for the restream.
Yeah, no, thanks, Jamo. Yeah, congratulations on winning, and then you are defending champion for next week. So, see you in this.
I gotta wake up again next week.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you're also doing. You're also playing for League, right? For this week for Fear, for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Good luck.
We're playing Monday, Wednesday. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're doing Glitch League, right?
Yeah, Skelly and I are playing against Faker Jr. and Duden in HMG No Logic Rules Info Share this tomorrow.
That's a scary matchup.
Yeah. It's gonna be really interesting because Faker Jr. is stupid good in NMG Random, but I haven't seen him play that much HMG. So I don't know how it'll go, but I will do my best.
It's like one person HMG and one person No Logic.
Yeah. So the way it works is that I'll be playing the HMG side and Skelly will play the No Logic side, but it's also Key Sanity because No Logic is literally the worst thing ever without Key Sanity. So HMG just has to deal with it, even though HMG is better without.
That's interesting. Someday I gotta try glitches, but
it's fun. I was gonna clipe at the end to show it off, but then I failed Moldorm Bounce and reset my console.
It happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I've said all that I want to say, so GG's, y'all. TY Gaming.
No, thank you.
Thank you. GG's.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like I think that'll be at least it for this week's Casual Boots Ladder Championship, sponsored by ALTTPR Ladder. So thank you so much, Dunka, as always, for everything.
Oh,
hello, Zal.
Sorry for coming late. Just had to
no problem.
Talk a little bit with my chat. Thank you so much for commentating. Wow, that was a ride, the seat and the restream.
It was indeed. What made you? Yeah, I guess I'm kind of curious. Like, what made you do some of the decisions? Like, like, did you want to go to pot earlier?
I did not. No, I did not want to go there. So we had no I mean, why? Like, I had no bottles. As you could see, I'm not very good at mimic clipping. It was like sort of a backup. I did not want to do that. So yeah, I delayed it. I think pot is always like, oftentimes there's nothing really. And yeah, turns out there actually was like the mirror. I was like, okay, this mirror is out of logic. Great. And then I found the bow, right?
The bow.
Yeah, immediately after I was like, oh my, yeah. It's like, oh god, so I have to do everything else. Yeah. It was unfortunate.
Yeah, you had a really interesting route. Like, you were the only one that delayed the mountain for really long, so you had a chance to combine it with TR. But then
that was my intention. Yeah.
Yeah, Ethan never ended up showing up, and
true.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate. Yeah, I think that's like, because usually it's so delayed, then you're like, oh, I want to combine this with GT, and then you sort of never go there. But what if there's something? I had decent equip. I had the ice rod. I had everything. And then I found the flute, I think. Like there I was already feeling behind, obviously. And then I was like, oh great. At least something. Mirrorless flute. And you know, nothing was behind that. That was a shame.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I thought you were kind of doomed, and then you found the flute, and suddenly, maybe he's fine. Maybe he can come back, and then Matt and MM2 were in Swamp at the time and found the ether, and it was like, well, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, if you have the mirror, it's so easy to route it in, but like, I was like, Swamp was pendant, so I was like, yeah, okay, It's in GT, isn't it? The mirror.
Hmm.
And it didn't. Yeah, it was just free. So right, because that flute, everyone would have last located that pretty much, right? And I skipped pod at that point. But yeah, I don't know. Horrible seed. For me, at least. You know?
Yeah, Jamo. Well, actually, all three of them basically were in the situation where they had done the mountain early, so they basically went to pod after Pyramid Ferry. And that's how they got there earlier.
I can see
but
that.
For you, it made sense at that point to cave in and just go to the mountain instead. Because it's just so many checks.
Yeah.
Even if they're not on logic.
Right. It could just be a logic lamp. It turned out that way anyway. I don't remember. What was it? The lamp?
Hammer packs?
Hammer packs, yeah. True. What else was it? Yeah, there was something, right? With this seat. I don't remember. What was it? Except the mirrorless flute chain. Yeah, right. Yeah, I picked up... So I saw this... I don't know where I saw this, but I was like, yeah, great, I have a bug net. Let's bring a fairy, right? Like to do the potion glitch. Yeah, didn't work. I was like, oh my god, what am I gonna do now? Like,
you got to Mimiclip.
Yes, but it's like, I'm really not good at it. And I was like, you're sort of shell-struck, I think, right? Like, it's sort of like, you lose your backpack.
What do I do? Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to leave.
Yeah,
so you just do it. I don't know. I wasted, what, 2 minutes? Probably, right?
Somewhere between 1 and 2, probably, yeah.
I was like, oh.
What was the first time you mimic-clipped? Mafte said something in chat that you...
No, I mean, I very rarely do it because I don't really play like cross keys, and in these kind of seats, you almost always have a potion, right? And it's just faster. Now, if you do cross key, I think it's very good to have this, but I did it maybe 5 times.
Okay.
Yeah, I can only do it buffered. True, yeah. And then I found the bow and the mirror.
And then the other one.
GG. Thank you for restreaming, and obviously GG to Jamo for this insane time. 1:22. I mean 1:22:59. That's crazy. 10 minutes earlier.
Jamo had a very good route this time. Yeah, it worked out very well for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see, if you go pot early, if you find the bow, you dip Eastern Pal, why not, right? Go pot, find the mirror. You can do so much. I guess he did a few more checks, but no, it's much better with a mirror.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you had to do things a lot more efficiently because you didn't have it.
Okay, yeah. Anything about the seed you saw? Or, like, I don't know what's coming up here. Are we overtime already? I came here late, so I don't know.
Oh, no. I don't think there's anybody else. I don't think there's any other race starting. At least certainly not until probably at least 4 p.m. So I didn't see the schedule, but nobody also was kicking us out, so.
That's great, yeah. I mean, just one question, like in the beginning, like who was leading? That's always, I find this kind of interesting in casual boots,
So Jamo was first out of escape by like half a second. You and Matt were tied right behind him.
Wow.
And MM2 map checked, so he was out of contention. But then MM2 skipped Lumberjack check, and then he was ahead for a bit. But you were all like very, very close for the longest time.
That's risky. Yeah, like I had a mirror there once, and I was like, that burned me pretty hard. So I don't like to skip that one, but yeah, you can do that, of course. Yeah. Well. Again.
Yeah, thank you for putting on a great show.
Yeah, have a great day. Evening. Day.
Have a great evening.
And enjoy your next game, whatever it is here on this channel. Bye bye. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I think
Thank
we'll probably
you so
wrap
much
it
for
up.
asking
Yeah.
me. It was
Yeah,
a
no,
great
thank
time.
you. Yeah, thanks, Jam. Always happy to do these. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I do know that I don't know if there's anything coming up on this channel in a bit, but I do know that there's a league race, Shady versus Vex on SG2 going on right now. They're playing inverted, so not quite the casual boots, but should still be a lot of fun. And yeah, definitely. There's rando pretty much the entire day throughout for all the speaking channels. So if you're around, stick around and just keep watching and have more rando. All right, until then, catch you later.
See ya.